What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Joy Speaks, a channel that I created to provide a voice for the recovery community. And when I say recovery community, I'm referring to people who are struggling with substance abuse, alcohol, mental health issues, and their loved ones. Because as we know, it's not just the addict or the alcoholic who's affected, but also the community that surrounds them. Before I get started, I want to ask you guys a big favor. Please hit like, hit share, but most importantly, hit subscribe. Hitting subscribe will cost you absolutely nothing. All that will happen is you will gain access to everything I have going on with my channel. And if you hit the notifications button, you'll be notified every single time I put out some fresh content. Today's topic is 6 months free from nicotine addiction. That's right, you guys. I cannot believe it. It has been, it's been a few weeks past my 6-month mark. Now that I'm recording this video, but we did it. We did it. 6 months without vaping, without a cigarette. Man, was this a process. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of insight on what this journey has been like for me. So what happened was we were approaching the new year. We were approaching the new year of 2024, and it was already kind of in my mind that I should start a New Year's resolution to stop vaping. Now, granted, I've tried to quit vaping and smoking many times before in the past with little to no success. I had even tried hypnotherapy. That's right, hypnotherapy. I tried it, and I watched the hypnotherapy video, and 5 seconds after the video was over, I was hitting the vape again. Did not work. So what I decided was, instead of setting a New Year's resolution to stop vaping, I said, let me see if I can stop right before the new year begins. Right? So that once the new year has started, I've already, collected some days without vaping. And so that's what I did. I started off with saying, you know what, I'm just gonna vape at night. And that didn't work. And then I said, well, if I just leave my vape at home and not bring it to work, that'll help. That didn't work. So what I had to do, the very, very first step that led to my freedom, was getting rid of all my vapes. And when I tell y'all, I had a lot of vapes. When I pulled out all the vapes from my car, all the vapes from my house, I probably had like 9 or 10 vapes. No lie. Because I always had 2 vapes on me. Insanity, right? But I had to get rid of all of them. And it's just like with substance abuse. I had to get rid of all of my substances to begin this process of freeing myself of that obsession and that compulsion. So first things first was I got rid of all my vapes. And I remember day one like it was yesterday, where it was like, it felt like trying to walk around, trying to navigate through my day without my shoes on. It felt like something was missing. It felt like something was broken. And it felt wildly uncomfortable. And then I was also working too. So I was the kind of vapor that would hit the vape as much as I can on the drive, to work. Hit my vape multiple times throughout my shift, and then really hit the vape once my shift was over. And driving to work that first day without my vape, it was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. I could not stop thinking about it. I could not stop obsessing over the vape. Now, I will say, because I shared my intention on stopping with my coworkers, that actually ended up helping, because they helped me stay accountable. And eventually they started rooting for me, but that first day was nuts. I mean, I had anxiety, the first 3 days, induced anxiety for sure. Restlessness, insomnia, and honestly, like low-grade depression. I felt sad. I felt like something was being taken away from me that I rightfully deserved. And that's the tricky part about nicotine addiction, is that you feel, when you don't have it, you feel like you're missing out on something. But the reality is that you're missing out on something that's causing you harm. And so it took me a while to wrap my brain around, like, this yearning that I'm having is yearning for something that is not going to help. And that the relief would come not with me giving in and getting that thing, but the relief would come with me walking through the process, walking through the discomfort, walking through the restlessness, moving through the feelings. You know, what's very familiar to me is run from a feeling, block a feeling, hide a feeling, numb a feeling. But what was very foreign was moving through the feeling. And once I began to allow myself the freedom to just be unhappy, be restless, be mad, be irritable, all of a sudden it started to get better. All of a sudden I became a little bit less irritable. It wasn't until like maybe day 7 or day 8 that the constant obsession with the vape started to be removed. You know, though that first week, it was especially getting in the car, you know, and especially first thing in the morning and going to bed at night. It was that, where's my vape? Oh, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to quit. Oh, where's my vape? Oh, I'm trying to quit. It was constant, you know. But I guess it kind of worked in my favor to also be sober from harder substances, because that feeling and that yearning I was very familiar with. And so I knew that eventually the feeling and the that yearning would slowly and gradually go away. And so I just had to, you know, pray to my higher power that I choose to call God for patience and for grace. And there were several times when I thought I was gonna snap. I thought I was gonna snap on a coworker. I thought I was gonna snap at somebody at work. I thought I was gonna snap at one of my friends. You become very, very irritable and very, very sensitive. But all of that is temporary. All of that is temporary. Now, 6 months later, it's wild that I can do anything today, feel anything today, and not have this obsession to hit a cigarette or hit a vape. It's mind-blowing. You know, my stamina and my endurance and my workout has multiplied tenfold. I work out now 2 hours at a time, and unless I'm coming out of the sauna, I'm not drenched with sweat, trying to catch my breath, damn near having convulsions. Like, it doesn't happen. You know, I can work out and work out and work out and work out and still not be, you know, tremendously out of breath and covered in sweat. Now, granted, I like to sweat, especially when I'm working out. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to sweat, but the level of, you know, exhaustion, you know, is nowhere near what it was when I was vaping. You know, especially when I hike the Culver City stairs, which are hundreds and hundreds of stairs, and I go up and down, up and down, up and down, and I used to be winded, like having to bend over and like catch my breath. That doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. Even just my overall energy has gone up, you know, which is interesting because nicotine is a stimulant, and of course I would use nicotine to, you know, energize the rest of my day, so to speak. But I have the energy naturally now, you know, and even yes, of course I get tired at the end of the day at work, but the tired is tired, and then the tired is no longer exhaustion. You know, I'm not out of breath anymore. You know, even my meditation has really improved. The breath work that I can do, right? With so much more ease and comfort today, I believe is all coming from, that void of having all that smoke in my lungs. If you meditate, you know how important breath work is, and anchoring yourself to your breath. And I can feel and experience just the ability to really expand my lungs and expand my diaphragm and take in really deep breaths and really long exhales. It's beautiful. I know it sounds corny, but it really is. It really is. And I used to meditate, and as soon as I was done with the meditation, hit the vape. Right? So I go from a sublime, calm state to back up to anxiety, back up to introducing stimulants. Now I'm overworking and overanalyzing, hyper. No. So my overall state is much more calm today, thanks to the freedom from nicotine addiction. I have many friends who still vape all the time. I have many friends who still hit cigarettes all the time. Yes, it got on my nerves in the first 30 days or so, but today it doesn't. Today when I see it, I just think to myself, I remember when that was me. And not to come across judgmental, because we all have our vices, but I also find gratitude when I see someone else, chained to their vape, because I realize that I don't have to be chained to anything today. That was the last thing that I was holding on to, you guys, was that vape, right? I said, okay, I'm not gonna drink, I got you. I'm not gonna do no substances, I got you. But this vape, this nicotine, I was holding on to that for dear life. And I really and truly already told myself I'm gonna vape till the day I die. But now I'm not tied to anything. Whew. It's incredible. It's incredible, because if you're anything like me, you have spent majority of your life attached to multiple substances. And for me, the cigarettes were just an afterthought to the liquor and the stimulants. There were many, many times when I was doing 4 and 5 substances in a night. I could have died many, many, many times. But the fact that I'm still here tells me that there is more work for me to do. And so I'm honored. I'm honored to get on here and share this process with you guys. I'm honored to tell my uncomfortable truth, because I know that I don't have any room in my life today for shame or secrets. And I truly want people to know that there's hope. There's hope, no matter how addicted you are to anything, especially if it's nicotine or alcohol, because those are two things that are very socialized and integrated in our society and in our culture. But as much as those companies would like to normalize vaping and normalize drinking, it is not normal to poison yourself, period. That's just my take on it. That being said, it's a process. And if you are trying to quit, please be gentle with yourself. Please allow yourself grace. This is not something that stuck with me the first time. My sobriety, it stuck with me the first time because I was desperate. I was desperate. But quitting nicotine, it's been a journey, and it's been years of contemplation, wanting to quit. Months of trying different methods of quitting and hypnotherapy. There's a saying in the rooms of recovery, and the saying goes, it takes what it takes. So try not to judge what it takes, because for one person it might take, having lung issues. For another person, it might be maybe they're in a relationship and their partner doesn't want to smell a cigarette or a vape breath. It takes what it takes. But yeah, I hope I said something today that is thought-provoking, insightful, or maybe even just entertained you. That's what I'm here for. Please hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, and I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.